What's up guys, my name is Zero Heroes and welcome back to more Call Terms Gates of Hell, and today I have some very exciting news for you today, and that is the release or the upcoming release of the first official expansion pack slash DLC coming to Gates of Hell. And yes, this is a completely brand new thing to Gates of Hell. This is a first official expansion pack out of, I presume, many more to come in the future, and this is based on the new faction, a new faction, a new campaign, and new maps added to this expansion pack. So I'm going to be today running down everything you need to know about this expansion pack coming to Gates of Hell very soon, and what's going to be involved. Is it worth the money, and is it going to be basically worth your time buying for and playing for? So this is called Development Update 111, and it's called Tal. I'm going to try and pronounce this the best I can, but believe me, I will do. I'm not the native word, whatever you call it, the native language. Basically, I can't speak it well, and I'm going to pronounce it as Talvisota, and apparently that is a special word for a special faction coming up. And as you can see, it probably looks quite familiar by this picture over here, and it looks kind of like a very familiar flag. If any of you, if you pause the video right now, if you can guess what kind of like flag this is based off this tank, I'll be very impressed. Anyway, let's have a look at what they have got to offer us in this new expansion pack coming to the game within the next couple of weeks per se. So it says, "Hello everyone. We are proud to announce the contents of the first expansion pack today. It's been 9 months since Osfront was released," which was true. It has been 9 months, and it's been a very exciting 9 months for Gates of Hell, and it's been a fantastic experience for us to see the development not only in our game but also in our community. It is true, to be honest, the community of Gates of Hell and the way they've progressed through this whole era of adding factions, adding maps, has been absolutely amazing. So thank you, Gates of Hell. Thank you, Barbed Wire Studios, for making this game absolutely an awesome game. It's time for the next step, which is very true, because we've just had one of the biggest update, which was, I believe, a video I just covered 2 days ago, which for some reason I can't remember. Anyway, go check that out. So which nation will be added? We saw a lot of guessing, speculation, and deducting going on in our Discord server lately, and this was great to watch. Some users came really close or guessed it right without knowing. Anyway, the wait is over, and it sure is. And yeah, that's my Discord lagging again. Not Discord, that's my OBS lagging again. So can anybody guess what it is? Pause the video right now. If anybody can guess what it is, then I'll be absolutely amazing. And apparently the Talvisota is already a word in this native language. So if any of you out there know what this word is, then let me know in the comments down below. But I already know what it is because it says here. Anyway, Talvisota. The second release will add Finland. Now this, when I first saw this was a faction that I was never ever going to expect to be added. The reason I knew this, because Pershing, a very good friend of mine, actually released this kind of thing on his community page already, so I already knew which faction it was going to be. But I was very surprised it was Finland, because I expecting it to be Britain due to the Lend Lease program, adding like the British tanks, and I thought it was going to be Britain, but that's just me being partially biased as well because I'm Scottish, not British. Anyway, but I'm actually very excited to see what the Finnish have got to bring to the table. Now, it wasn't Finland, by the way. If we're comparing this to Men of Warsaw Squad 2, Men of Warsaw Squad 2 did not have Finland. It had all the other factions mainly in the war except Finland. So it's really good to see a faction that wasn't very, very important as part of the war and at the time, but to be honest, it wasn't very much talked about as other nations at that time, such as Germany, Poland, Russia, the UK, America. So Finland was kind of like a side faction or side nation at the time of when historians talk about World War II. 3 different conflicts took place in and around Finland between 1939 and 1945. So as you can see, that's probably why it's talked very little, because there was only 3 conflicts in the whole entire war between 1939 and 1945. Talvisota means winter war in Finnish. So if any of you got that right, then congratulations. If you didn't, then then you need to learn up on your Finnish, because you guys are finished. I know, terrible joke. This was the first war for Finland since 1918, and we have recreated several of the greatest battles of the Winter War. After that, the Continuation War and the Lapland War made for some absolutely unique action, which we will depict as well. So I don't really know much about the Continuation War and the Lapland War. I'm probably going to have to do a wee bit of my research on that, but I'm very intrigued to look up on it and see what it is. But if any of you know about the Lapland War and the Continuation War, then please do let me know what that war was, because I'd love to see even a lot of Finnish fans out there then what you thought of it and what it means to, you know, your country to fight a war during that time. Finland had its own equipment from tanks to aircraft. Besides that, the Finnish army used a lot of captured equipment. They rearmed, modified and upgraded, and it deployed it beside their own original equipment. This will be present in our game as well. So what they're saying is basically it had its own equipment, it had its own tanks, and it had its own aircraft, but they also they also captured equipment such as like Russian tanks, probably a lot of Russian equipment, a lot of German equipment, I presume. As you can see in this thumbnail right here, that this is the kind of the based off the Russian T26, so that's probably that's what they captured. So I presume that's what they're basing it off of when they say captured, because the Finnish did fight the Russians, and believe it or not, the Finnish actually won, I believe. Kind of going a wee bit of basic history of what I know between the Finnish and the Russians at that time. And so I presume it was a lot of Russian kind of aircraft, a lot of Russian tanks, anti-tank guns, you know, all those kind of captured equipments. But the Finnish, I believe, did have their own equipment as well that did stand up to be pretty fearsome against the Russians. Moreover, a lot went into recreating Finnish landscapes, resulting in a set of beautiful new maps to a stunning degree of detail that give you the right feel and immersion connected to this part of the world. Talvisota gives you the Finnish faction with an enormous collection of vehicles and weapons, a single-player campaign, and a plethora of new maps, which I cannot wait for, because I'm presuming some of the maps could be a lot of possibly winter maps, I presume, and possibly even some like foresty maps, quite a lot of, because Finnish is kind of high up in the Scandinavian area with Sweden and Finland, or Sweden and Sweden. My brain isn't working, but basically I'm presuming some of these maps will probably be a lot of winter maps and a lot of kind of foresty maps as well, kind of mucky foresty maps as well, but I could be wrong. Also, by popular demand, so this is by community, by you guys, the classic skirmishes return, built from the ground up in a new revolutionary format. These will propel the single player segment of Call to Arms Gates of Hell Osrant to a completely new level, as Talvisota, yep, make sure I got that right, will contain the skirmishes for all the nations in the game. Let's have a look at some of the images. So the skirmishes, if you don't know what the skirmishes are, they're basically, I think if I get my information right, the skirmishes are the single player campaigns that you can do, but you can do it in multiplayer. Basically, you can do it with other players, with friends and all that. I don't think you can do it with the AI, but you can play it with friends. So that means like if you want to do a certain mission that you haven't completed or you're stuck on, maybe you could get a friend to help you to complete that. So I believe off base of my head, that's what the skirmish is. So it'll be very good to see how they kind of turn the skirmish, how they will return the skirmish and build it from the ground up in a new revolutionary format. I'd really like to see what they're going to do to that. So let me know what your thoughts on the classic skirmish, and they said it's going to be revolutionary, so I really hoped you guys are right on that. Let's have a look at some of the images here. I do want to talk about kind of the some of the things here that adding in kind of the world maps with an enormous collection of vehicles, weapons, single player campaign, and plethora of new maps. So the single player campaign, I'm probably guessing there maybe going to be about 6 missions. I think it's probably going to be the same as the Russian and the German campaign, roughly about the same missions as those campaigns. And for a plethora of new vehicles and weapons, I can completely agree. I think we're going to hear hopefully some new sounds for the Finnish weapons, and it's going to be, and the camos and the uniforms and the camouflage and the tanks are hopefully going to be different as well compared to the Germans and the Russians. So I really hope there will be like a really outstanding kind of like an outstanding gauge between kind of the differences, camouflage between the Finnish and the Russians and the Germans. So it'll really be cool to see that. But let's have a look at some pictures here. Yep, you can see it. Some of that is going to be some wintry maps. I don't know if this is maybe part of a campaign map, but I think this or could just be a skirmish map. I don't know, or that is part of the campaign map. But as you can see, we've got some kind of trenches along here which you could take good cover behind. Quite hard for the enemy to advance, looks like. Some barbed wires and tank traps along this way, along here as well. You've got some burned vehicles, some burned wrecked vehicles. Looks like a T28 right there as well, and a T26. You got a mountain over here and some bunkers as well, which you could take advantage of shooting out the windows, and a heli position which you can possibly put a mortar behind here and get shots over as well, putting some snipers possibly, get the high ground as well on that. So some really good cover here and some really nice areas which you can use to your advantage. Something that I did say was kind of like a foresty map has to be probably one of the best looking pictures that I've seen in a long time. I love this kind of Shtuk here, which is probably a captured Finnish tank, which I did say there's probably going to be some captured German equipment as well. So you've kind of got the Shtuk based off the Shtuk 4 or whatever it is, with some kind of side logs on it as well, which go really nice kind of with this background, the environment as well with the kind of camouflage. Well, it's not got no camouflage, but it's got kind of the logs as well to the side, which kind of make it a really cool aspect. And it does look different compared to the Germans, even though the design is the same, but it just like as an externally, it just looks different with the kind of logs on the side, which make it a really cool environmentally different, as well as just kind of like they haven't put any camo on it, but as you can see, the color of the kind of the skin of the color of the Shtuk 4 is different compared to the Germans. So this kind of like a light bluish greenish color, whereas the Germans are kind of pure grey or black. So you can definitely tell the difference. You've got the number as well, which is really cool addition. Well, things like these little details really do make this a really cool vehicle to hopefully play, and it'll probably be one of the strongest vehicles out there in the Finnish army. Let's have a look at the next one. So this is based off the Russian T26, and as you can see, again, it's taking place in kind of like a foresty area, mucky foresty area, and possibly in the autumn time. No, not in the autumn time. Possibly in the springtime. No, not in springtime. Anyway, as you can see, it's got kind of like that. It's got the Finnish nation, the flag on it, so it's white and blue, which is kind of the same as the Scottish flag. But we'll let you off, Finland. We'll let you off. We'll accept this. We'll let it by you. So one off though. Don't steal it again. But you can see it's based off the T26, but the turret definitely does look different. I have to say the hull looks definitely the same, but I've said that the turret just looks slightly different compared to the T26, and I will do maybe a comparison video between the two tanks for like the actual T26 and the actual Shtuk compared to like the Finnish T26 and the Finnish Shtuk. So I might do a comparison video on that if you'd like to see it. And yeah, it's really cool to see kind of the pictures on this, and we get to see already a quick preview of what vehicles are to come up in the Finnish army. So again, really cool captured vehicles like this will be really cool to see, and it's just these little details like the numbers on it and the flag as well. The flag's the color of Finland is really cool to see. So really like that. And you got some, also this is just a map. I presume this would probably be a skirmish map, you know, a campaign map, like a really nice bridge, like a really nice water. But I don't know what this is. It's like it's not a sea, but it's like a river. So you can see the river's kind of getting blocked off by a lot of trees, fallen branches that have possibly been bombarded by the war, and you can see the bridge looks like it's about to collapse. Actually, it looks pretty sturdy, but as you can see, it looks really nice, and it'll be really cool to get a nice cinematic shot across here. So again, kind of this foresty map, which it'll be deadly. I mean, I've just noticed that there's vehicles crossing. I didn't even realize that, but as you can see, there are actually vehicles, the Finnish kind of vehicles crossing. That's kind of based off the BA-11, I think, the Russian BA-11. So another Russian vehicle captured, kind of based off that the Finnish have taken and kind of used to their modified and upgraded it. So definitely kind of looks like a modified BA-11. And again, I will be comparing these vehicles, so it looks really cool of these guys just cross the tanks crossing the bridge here and looking really dope. And you've got this gun. This is I've no idea. By the way, I'm not very good when it comes to guns. I'd say I'm more knowledgeable on my tanks and that, but I'm not very knowledgeable on my guns. So if anybody knows what this is, it's a Madsen. I think a Madsen. Is that a Russian gun? I feel like this is a Russian gun, or is it a full Finnish gun? As my OBS likes to lag up again. Yep, my OBS likes to lag up again. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody knows anything about this, but please let me know what gun this is, because I have no idea what this is, but it just looks awesome as hell. It's very well detailed, kind of got your scarrings or your kind of your scars, or not scars, kind of your scraping here on the kind of the wood, as well as kind of very well detailed. You know, you've got little signs here which make it very, very nice detail. But anybody that's kind of into guns and all that can let me know. You've got a nice flak that kind of looks like a flak 18 or an AA gun. It kind of looks more of like an AA gun, which can easily shoot down aircraft. Very nice, very nicely modeled. Again, I don't know much about the AT, and I know about AT, but I think this is more of an AA gun, just the way that the kind of the end looks, because an AT gun doesn't really have that kind of muzzle at the end. It's more flat, it's more kind of rounded instead of kind of curled out, and you know what I mean. So it's definitely, this is more looking like an AA gun, but you can definitely still do it to destroy lightly armored vehicles, and it'll definitely still make an impact. But very nicely detailed, very much love it. You've got the alcohol. Yep, the Finnish obviously love their alcohol. I'm joking, that's like Molotovs and all. AT mines, anti-personnel mines. You know, all those type of things which make it really cool. And you even got like little details like of what the bottle is. So really, really cool there. You've got your mortar emplacements as well. You can see that some of them are getting larger and bigger. I don't know anything. If anybody knows about what caliber of mortars these are, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'd really like to see what type of caliber this is. And then you've got oh my goodness, I've just looked at this. This is the first time I'm seeing this. This is the Russian KV-220, I believe, but it's Finnish, and I don't know what the Finnish have called it, but based off knowledge, I know this is called the KV-220. So you've got the KV-1 turret here, you've got another turret here, and oh my god, this is going to be a formidable vehicle to destroy, especially when lightly armored vehicles are up against this thing. It's got no chance. I wouldn't put this really thing up against a Tiger or a Panther, because this thing will just get destroyed easily, but up against your lightly armored vehicles, your kind of small AT guns will do absolutely fine against this, and it looks absolutely beastly. And if this is what we're getting with the Finnish army, I'd be more than happy to spawn about 50 of these and be absolutely dominant on the battlefield. It's got machine gun ports, one in the turret here on the top turret, one in the machine on the chassis here, on the hull, and I can see this is just going to take out like 2 vehicles at once or 3 vehicles at once. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So yeah, I've just noticed that. Again, some nice other AT guns as well. So that is it for photos. Very much, which one out of all of those photos that I've showed, which one is the best looking map, I have to say, or my favorite map has to be this one here. It just looks so nice. Which one is looking your favorite vehicles? I have to say the favorite vehicle that I just saw was this one here. I have to be probably my favorite one there. So definitely going to give this. I just muted my mic by mistake. And yeah, just overall it's just looking amazing. So tell me what your thoughts are below. last but not least, we'll move on to the last thing, which is wish listing. So we can imagine you want to see more. Well, now you can on all the Tavvasota, sorry, I said that wrong, store page. So this DLC, or it has its own store page. So if you want to check out more details and all that, then you can just click on the store page and you can find out all the information there. On the store page, we've listed the expansion pack content in more detail, so check it out now and remember to hit that wishlist button, which I've already done. Development of the Tavvasota has been going since September last year. Progress has been steady and consistent. We're approaching the final stages of development. However, we're not ready to set a precise publication date yet. So there's been no release date yet, and I don't know the price, but I'm guessing the price is going to be roughly about probably maybe about 15 to 20 pounds. That's about 25 euros, I think it is, basically, or I think maybe slightly less. Tavvasota, so this is a very important thing I must read out. Tavvasota will require OSFront ownership. It is an expansion which cannot be purchased immediately. So you need to own this game. You need to own OSFront first before you buy the DLC, basically. So you cannot buy the DLC first and then the game. You have to buy the main game first, OSFront first, and then buy the DLC. You cannot buy the DLC first, because you can't install a DLC if you haven't got the main game. So make sure it is important that you buy the game first and then you buy the DLC. Players who do not own Tavvasota can still play against the Finnish faction and observe the capabilities and units of Tavvasota, so they can form an educated option before buying. But to us, I don't really like that idea, because that's basically just teasing you and saying, of course it gives you an idea of what you're going up against, but if you can already face them, why not just set it as a free DLC or set it as a free faction? So you're basically already giving the faction for free, but just to view it and not to play with. I don't really get the system. I don't really get that kind of imagination there. I understand why they're doing it, just to give you an idea of to study the Finnish faction and when you're going up against it, but it just doesn't make sense why you'd able to even watch them and just not play with it. It just doesn't really add up to me. I mean, I can understand that if you don't have the DLC, then you shouldn't be able to view them. You shouldn't be able to play them. That's just the way it is, because you're partially just given a bit of the DLC for free. Just with the faction, you're not getting the campaign, you're not getting the single players, you're just getting a bit of the faction, but just to view, not to actually play. Again, it doesn't make sense, and I don't think that's right. So I'm sorry, Bardwire Studios, but I just don't think that is the right thing to do. But personally, that's just my opinion. You can disagree with me all you want in the comments, but that's just my opinion. If you want to keep an eye out for future news about the Tavvasota, join our Discord server, where the Developer Telegraph channel will keep you posted on Development Weekly. That's it for the moment. Did you expect Finland? Let us know in your reaction. See you on the battlefield. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the new expansion pack, Tavvasota. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tavvasota, yep, coming to Gates of Hell very, very soon. Tell me what your thoughts about this Tavvasota DLC. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's going to be worth your time? Personally, my final verdict of this is it's going to be fantastic. I'm definitely going to be giving it so I can give a full rundown, a full review on it. I definitely won't get it for free, but because I don't think they'll be watching, I don't think Gates of Hell or Bardwire Studios will be watching this, but if I got it for free and reviewed it for you guys, that'd be absolutely amazing. But I'll probably have to buy it like everyone else, and I'll be giving a full rundown of the campaign. I'll be giving a full rundown of I'll even be doing a faction review of this. I'll be probably in 2 parts, so look out for that on the channel when it comes out. And I reckon it's going to be again about, on the UK price for pounds or sterling, I think it's going to be between about 20 to 30 pounds. I've just upped my price. I think it's going to be between 20 to 30 pounds, because this is just the first expansion, so they're probably going to make it really high, really expensive. So I'm thinking about 20 to 30 pounds, and for euros, I think about 18 euros, I think it is, or slightly higher, or 26 euros. I don't know it is in dollars for the Americans, but I just think this is going to be quite an expensive DLC. But luckily I get paid soon, so I'm quite happy about that. Anyway, guys, that is the expansion pack Telvasota on today's video. So that is it, guys. Tell me what your thoughts about this, and if you are Finnish, are you happy that they're in the game, and were you expecting the Finnish DLC? To be honest, I wasn't, but to be honest, it's all very exciting, and to be honest, I thought it'd be one of like the other main factions, like possibly like Poland, or it could be Britain or America, but nope, Finland, completely out of the blue. So yeah, I think that's what the developers were probably hoping for reaction for, and you definitely got my reaction there, Barbed Wire Studio, so well done. But that's it, guys, for today. Thank you so much for watching and our support, and I will see you in the next video. See you later, and goodbye.